I am going to present a finding of a study conducted at my center, that is evaluation of infected RBC flag as a screening tool for malaria. Malaria, as we all know, that it has existed for more than 30 million years on the earth. Malaria has infected each and every continent except Antarctica at its peak. So the numbers are on the decreasing side. Still today, we are getting more than 220 million cases per year worldwide, out of which 85% of global malaria cases occur in India and Africa alone. India carries staggering 47% of global PYX burden, which is highest in the world. And that is the reason why Indian government launched National Framework for Malaria Elimination in 2014 with the aim of eliminating malaria from India by 2030, which requires annual budget of 20 billion rupees. In Surat, we are getting 90% of PYX infection of all malaria cases, malaria positive cases annually. Now, is it mandatory to look for malaria in each and every CBC that we look? In fact, at our center and in most of the centers in South Gujarat, we do comment about presence or absence of malaria in each and every CBC. It is very easy to suspect when malaria is present with classical clinical features, which are present in 50 to 70% cases. But in 30 to 50% cases, when malaria is present with some atypical presentation, involvement of other systems predominantly, it is very difficult for a clinician to suspect malaria. Atypical presentation may be due to development of immunity, increasing resistance to anti-malarial drug, and the indiscriminate use of anti-malarial drug. We have seen cases of malaria in dermatology patients, in cardiac patients, in surgical patients, or also in gynec patients. So the current cost-effective methods which we can utilize for diagnosis of malaria, the most commonly used method is a smear examination, which is considered to be cost-effective. Species identification and assessment of parasite density is possible with smear examination, but a lot of variables are involved in smear preparation and staining. It is time-consuming, labor-intensive, because according to WHO criteria, minimum 5 to 10 minutes is required for labeling a smear as malaria negative, and a lot of subjectivity is also involved in smear examination, which needs expert manpower. The other relatively cheaper alternative is rapid diagnostic test, which is a little bit costlier than smear examination, but it is an objective test. Species identification is possible, but the density assessment or parasite load assessment is not possible with rapid diagnostic test. Variable sensitivity and specificity is the major issue sometimes we face at our laboratory level, like manufacturer to manufacturer variation in sensitivity and specificity. And these tests are ordered only upon clinical suspicion. So patient should present with some features indicative of malaria. Now, analyzers with malaria indication. As we all know that CBC is one of the most commonly asked investigation. It would be better if some indication of presence of malaria is there along with our CBC report. From early 1990s, 2 papers were published about malaria-induced changes observed in hematology analyzer data, but they lack both specificity and sensitivity. And the interest regarding utility of this cell analyzer about malaria indication was renewed with Abbott Celldyne series cell counter CD3000 to CD4000 series, where depolarizing events with or without pseudoreticulocytosis is used as their index criteria. Subsequently, Beckman-Coulter and Sysmex series publications were made on these cell counters, and particularly Beckman-Coulter cell counter utilized standard deviation of lymphocyte volume and monocyte volume, and a malaria factor is calculated based on SD of lymphocyte and monocyte volume. And in Sysmex series, abnormality on scatter plot was considered as the criteria. This is from a particular a paper where this criteria, index criteria, or the main criteria for malaria suspicion on this hematology analyzers, different hematology analyzers are summarized. Latest in this edition is Mindray series BC6200, 6800, and 6800 plus. We particularly studied, carried out the study on BC6800 plus at our center. This particular analyzer, it is having dedicated infected RBC flag, infected RBC sensitive zone in 3D scatter plot with events or dots or pixels in the infected RBC sensitive zone. It is also giving absolute infected red cell count and infected red cells per 1,000 in research use only parameter. Calculated or derived parameter that we studied in our particular study is difference in WBC count in these two channels, WBC diff and WBC WNB channel, that we'll see later on. This particular parameter or this particular calculated delta WBC that we called it is useful in some problem cases. So the present study was conducted between 15th of March 2019 to 31st of December 2019. Total 30,077 patients included in this study, excluding unfavorable pre-analytical variables like hemolyzed samples, inadequate samples, delay from collection to the analysis on hematology analyzer of more than 6 hours. These were excluded from the study. 2 thick smears stained with Giemsa and 1 thin smear stained with Leishmans. These smears were prepared immediately after collection and examined for malaria. All positive smears were graded according to the plus scale system. All samples are analyzed on Mindray BC6800 plus using CD mode. Now, those who are using a Mindray series must be familiar with this cube. Here in the left side, this WBC diff channel, the output of WBC diff channel is this beautiful cube where the WBCs are differentiated into lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophils, neutrophils, and basophils, and HFC count and immature granulocyte. Now here on the x-axis, this is side scatter. On the z-axis, there's forward scatter, and on the y-axis, that is fluorescent part. Side scatter indicates internal complexity, forward scatter indicates size of the cell, and fluorescence indicates the presence of nucleic acid content, or in other words, measure of immaturity of the particular cell. In the right side, another cube that is from WBC WNB channel. Here, the WBCs are separated from normoblasts and basophils. Now, the infected RBC flag. This hematology analyzer, Mindray series, they provide dedicated 14 flags with adjustable threshold between 0 and 100, and they are expressed under iMessage heading, and the count is given for each and every flag. All flags come with default threshold value of 40, except infected RBC flag, which has default threshold value of 100. In present study, to increase sensitivity, we reduced this threshold for infected RBC to 0. Now, on the left side, this is a normal cube of a normal sample. This is the front view of this cube, where scatter plot is seen, side scatter versus fluorescent, and on the right side, a cube of malaria positive sample. Here you can see in this particular zone, this circled area, where double humped or multiple humped neutrophilic or eosinophilic area is seen in presence of malaria. When we see these cubes from the top view, that is side scatter versus forward scatter, on the left side we can see the normal cube, and on the right side we can see the distinct zone occupied by lyse resistant or infected parasite infected RBCs, which occupy a different zone than neutrophils and eosinophils. This particular zone is having low forward scatter but having a side scatter comparable to neutrophils or eosinophils, depending upon the parasites or the stage of parasite present. This infected RBC count is given in research use only parameters. INR is expressed in as a two parameter. One is per thousand and other is absolute INR count. One calculated parameter, that is the difference between WBC count in WBC diff and WBC WNB channel, that we called it as delta WBC. We evaluated this particular parameter also. Generally, delta WBC value is minimal or insignificant or tend to be zero under normal circumstances, but we observe significant difference in total WBC count from both this channel causes high WBC, high delta WBC value when malaria is present. Here we can see this cube from two different channels. The left one is from WBC WNB, where almost all RBCs, parasitized RBCs and normal RBCs are lysed and they occupy host region. Only WBCs are occupied in this WBC sensitive area. While on the right side, we can see that not only WBC, they occupy this area. Along with that, infected RBC, they are also included into the WBCs. So here in the RUO parameters, we can differentiate. We can see that WBC D count is higher than WBC N. WBC N is the WBC count given by WBC WNB channel. So the difference is exactly this in the similar range where the infected RBC count is there. So 4.3 is infected RBC count in this particular case, and the difference is similar to infected RBC count. So the result of our study, we 30,077 patients were enrolled in this study, and based upon the smear examination as well as the infected RBC flag results, we divided this 30,077 patients into 6 groups. Group 1, which comprised of 29,517 cases, were malaria negative, as well as infected RBC flag was not generated in the cell counter. So they were considered as true negative or control group. Group 2 and 3 are the cases of malaria positive, and infected RBC flag was also generated, and they are true positive cases. Further analysis of these true positive cases, we divided into P. vivax positive cases and P. falciparum positive cases. So true positive P. vivax cases comprised of 284 out of 285 P. vivax positive cases. And falciparum positive cases, where infected RBC flag was generated, was comprised of only 1 case out of total 38 P. falciparum positive cases. Group 4 and 5 are malaria positive, but infected RBC flag was not generated in these cases, so they are considered as false negative cases. Upon further analysis, we found that only 1 P. vivax case which did not generate infected RBC flag. So false negative for P. vivax was only 1 case, while false negative for P. falciparum were 37 cases. And the last group comprised of false positive cases, where smear did not show presence of malarial parasite, but infected RBC flag was generated. Here we can see that we are getting P. vivax or vivax malaria round the year with seasonal peak in monsoon, while P. falciparum we are getting only during monsoon period. Here we can see that the P. vivax cases, majority of out of 223 cases, majority 285 were P. vivax cases, almost 90%. That correlates with the finding of Surat Municipal Corporation data. Now, on further analysis of group 2 and group 4, that are P. vivax smear positive P. vivax cases, out of 285, 284 cases, analyzer generated infected RBC flag. So the sensitivity was highest in case of P5X malaria. Ideally, microscopists should be blinded for the result of infected RBC flag in order to eliminate bias during microscopy due to flag generation, which we did not apply in our study. The density of the clustered event in the infected RBC sensitive zone is directly proportional to the lice-resistant malaria infected red cell. That can be seen in these 6 cases. The top left, the density is lowest, while the bottom right, the density is highest. Now, as we can see that the color of these dots are either light blue or orangish. That means these dots or these counts, they are falsely included into either neutrophil or eosinophil, causing pseudo-neutrophilia and or pseudo-eosinophilia. We also studied the interference of this parasitized red cell into differential count, and we found that the majority of interference was observed in neutrophils. So pseudo-neutrophilia was observed in almost 65 and 19% cases, while pseudo-eosinophilia was observed in 15 and 19% cases. Ideally, this should be typed as no type cell, so modification in software algorithm is required. We also compared microscopic grade with infected RBC, absolute infected RBC count, and we found excellent correlation between microscopic grade with the infected RBC count. Now, the sensitivity and specificity of infected RBC flag for P5X malaria, we tried to evaluate sensitivity and specificity of infected RBC flag at different threshold value. Primary objective is not to miss a single case of malaria, so we kept threshold value at 0. However, iMessage value of each case was noted, and then sensitivity and specificity of this particular flag at different iMessage threshold was evaluated, which is shown in this table. Now, as we can see, when cutoff from 0 to 100, when cutoff or the threshold value is increased, we see the sensitivity gradually decreases, while the specificity gradually increases. At even cutoff threshold of 0, we can see that true flagged cases were 284 out of 285, and falsely flagged cases were 237. So these 237 cases were false positives. Now, the utility of delta WBC parameter that we discussed earlier. Generally, there is fair degree or linear correlation exists between delta WBC and infected red cell count. Here on x-axis, infected red cell count is there, and on y-axis, delta WBC count, or the difference in WBC count between two channels, WBC WNB and WBC diff channel. So normally there is linear correlation exists between these two. Now, some cases they did not correlated well, or they did not show well correlation between these two parameters. Here on y-axis, we can see a few dots, 4 or 5 dots. These are no infected red cell count was given by instrument with the high delta WBC. Now, due to high overlapping of dots in scatter plot, instrument algorithm was not able to give infected RBC count. Hence, the count is expressed or the count is not given. But the degree of parasite load can roughly be estimated using this delta WBC parameter, or the difference in the WBC output of between these two channels. There are few dots in this x-axis where high infected red cell count was found with low delta WBC. Now, on further analyzing this problem cases, we found that WNB scatter plot, which is supposed to give you true WBC count, it was found that red cells with parasite in these cases could not be lysed completely, even with the strong lyse used in WBC WNB channel. So they were included in total WBC count, elevating total WBC count falsely and making this delta WBC parameter low. Here we can see the reason for the false high total WBC count. On the left side, we can see these RBC ghosts, they occupy a distinct zone than the true WBC count. Here, all the RBCs are completely lysed. But on the right side, we can see that some of the RBCs, because they are not completely lysed, especially in P-Vivax cases, they are falsely included into WBC, making this total WBC count given by WBC WNB channel falsely elevated. Group 3 and 5, they are comprised of P falciparum cases. Now we found only one flagged case of all P falciparum cases out of 38, making sensitivity for falciparum detection extremely low and a positive predictive value of negligible. Now the likely reason is the early ring form of P falciparum generate very low side scatter, very low forward scatter, as well as very low fluorescent signals, making them difficult to differentiate from RBC ghost by analyzer algorithm. When late trophocytes or schizones are present in significant number, which are larger and complex structure, they can be detected by because of high fluorescent, high side scatter, and high forward scatter count. Now, few interesting scatter plots. This particular case is of P-Vivax that we missed on the hematology analyzer. And here you can see, even if it is the iMessage value was 0, we can see the 2 dots in this infected RBC sensitive zone, as well as a distinct ghost population of RBC. So by looking at the scatter plot closely, we can suspect, even if infected RBC flag was not generated, even at the threshold value of 0. Now, these particular cases are of P falciparum. Here you can see one P falciparum case where gametocyte population was there. And this gametocyte population, they occupy a distinct zone than usual RBC ghost. So by looking at this scatter plot, we can still suspect, even if it is not flagged. This particular case on the presentation, the left side figure is on the day of presentation, where instrument algorithm was not able to differentiate between different differential WBC differential count, as well as marked overlapping was there, so that infected RBC count was not generated. After 24 hours upon successful treatment, not only the number of the parasitized red cells, they are also decreased, but then immediately on the next day, instrument was able to give the differential count also. Here also one similar case where instrument was not able to generate, or instrument was not able to give proper differential count because of high parasite density. On the right side, here we can see in research parameter, the infected output of infected RBC absolute count and per 1,000 count is not given because instrument algorithm was not able to calculate it precisely. But still, WBC channel output of 2 different channels, that is WBC diff and WBC WNB, the difference is marked and obvious, and that difference is because of infected RBCs, that is delta WBC. Now, group 6 comprised of falsely flagged cases. When we analyze these falsely flagged or false positive cases, 93 of them, they showed platelet clump flag. 66 showed WBC related flags like immature granulocyte, NRBCs, eosinophilias, etc. And 15 of them, they showed lipid particles. So these are the likely reason of false positive cases. Now, even if you see false positive, or even if you find a few cases of false positives, but still we can differentiate false positive or falsely flagged cases from true cases by just looking at FS versus SS scatter plot. Here you can see on the left side the the very much scattered population, even in infected RBC sensitive zone, the dots or the events are very much scattered all over the place. While on the right side, we can see the clustered or dense dots. So we can differentiate or we can suspect that these are falsely flagged. On the left side, these are false. This is falsely flagged case, and on the right side, this can be malaria. So concluding our study, the threshold for infected RBC flag should be adjusted to low, and we suggest that it should be preferably to 0 to increase the sensitivity. Now, excellent screening tool for P-Vivax malaria with almost 100% sensitivity and almost 100% negative predictability. So this is an excellent tool. Mindray BC6800 plus can be an excellent tool, screening tool for definitely P-Vivax malaria. But at the same time, it is extremely poor screening tool for P. falciparum malaria, especially in cases where we see only early ring forms or early trophozoites of P. falciparum malaria with very low sensitivity. Manual differential count is must, as all infected red cells are either included in neutrophils and or eosinophils, making pseudoneutrophilia and or pseudoeosinophilia. And these infected red cell should be classified as no type cells. Infected RBC count, which is given in research parameter, can be an excellent parameter to assess parasite load in most of the cases. False total WBC count can be suspected by close observation of WBC WNV cube. Close observation of SF cubes can reduce many error and can suspect malaria even in low or no flagged cases. These are a few articles for my references. Thank you.